Hey everybody, welcome back again to the journey. Um, I've been thinking a lot this week. When I grew up, I was born and raised in the Episcopal Church, which is kind of like the Catholic Church, I guess. You know that it's very formal, it's very structured. So you go through the stuff, and there was a man who was one of the priests of the Episcopal Church who was just the best guy in the world. He and his wife. His name was George Bursch. And I adored Father Bursch. In fact, I was 3, 4, 5 years old in that range, and I called him Solder Push because I couldn't say Father Bursch. And I just loved this guy. And, you know, it was so cool because in the middle of these really pretty formal, pretty structured services, he'd be sitting up there, you know, in the important priest chair by the altar. And I would go running up at some point in the service. I'd run up the little platforms and right up to the altar, and I'd go up and I'd sit on his lap. And, you know, he let me do that. And it was just looking back, it's such a beautiful thing that he let me do that. But he would also make these wooden toys that were so much fun. And I remember there was one toy that he made us that was kind of a jigsaw puzzle. There was no picture on it, and there were only 7 or 8 pieces, probably even fewer than that, actually. I don't know, 5 or 6 pieces. You know, but they were very oddly shaped, and you had to get them just right in order to get them in this wooden square. And I remember getting so frustrated with that puzzle and getting those pieces right to fit in that square. And, you know, over the last few years, I've been feeling like I'm trying to do that puzzle. And I have like, you know, I don't know, say 5 or 6 things that I think are really big pieces in my life. And over the last, especially 2, 3 years, I've been trying to fit these pieces in, you know, these roles that I play, father, son, husband, pastor, counselor. You know, I've been trying to take these pieces and I've been trying to figure out how do I get these to fit in this square. And gradually over time, I realized they don't fit in the square. And so I've really been struggling in terms of having to say no to something that I've been doing for quite a while, and that in itself is a really important thing. I just can't fit it in my square. And, you know, I was getting more and more tired and more worn out and just really down to the end of my rope. And I finally got to the point where I realized, okay, this piece, I just can't get this piece in there no matter how I cram it. I've been trying to cram it for years now. And no matter how I do, I just can't get it in there. And one of the things that I've really struggled with in that is where Paul in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so I've been looking at these roles that I have, you know, and I've been thinking, I don't feel like I can keep doing this. And yet there's this verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I went back and I looked at it, you know, and it's in the context of Paul saying, I don't really need anything. You know, he's saying, because I've learned to live with a lot. I've learned to live with a little. I've learned to live when things hurt, when they don't, when I'm hungry, when I have a lot of food, you know, and he's talking about the circumstances that he finds himself in, and how he's learned to be content in those circumstances, you know, and I've been thinking and I've been praying about that, and I just wanted to share with you a thought about that. Well, maybe 2 thoughts about that. Because one of the thoughts that came to me, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That through Christ who strengthens me part is so crucial, you know, because that means that it's his will as well as what I'm doing. In other words, he's going to strengthen me for the things that he's given me to do. And when I step out of those things that he's given me to do, that's when I don't have the ability. That's when I don't have the strength to do that. And so I think there's a sense in which, you know, when he says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, it doesn't mean I can do anything I want. And it doesn't mean I can do anything other people want me to do either. You know, one of the things that kind of bugs me that we tell kids is you can be anything that you want to be. No, you really can't. You know, there are some physical limitations, there are some mental limitations that every single one of us has that just is going to make it so that we can't do certain things, right? I mean, I've always been a bigger guy. I'm about 6'1", and you know, I weigh way more than I should. But even when I weigh what I should, I'm very on the heavy side. You know, Dad was, man, when Dad got down to a skeleton, he weighed like 219, I think. You know, and so I'm a heavy guy, and you know, if I thought, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a power forward in the NBA. No, I'm not. At 6'1", no, I'm not. And I'm not good enough. I don't have that skill with basketball. I can play basketball and I can get better, but the reality is I'm not going to play that position. I'm not going to play defensive tackle in the NFL. You know, and there are intellectual things too that, like, I don't have the kind of mind that I'm going to be calculating stuff for spacecraft and stuff like that. That's just not the way my mind works. And so there are things that I can't do, and that's okay. In fact, I'd like to even say that's good, because God's the one who's given me who I am and what I do well and the person that I am. And so what I need to do is find how I fit in that, not try to be something that I want to be. So that's one side of it, you know, where that part about through Christ who strengthens me. It's about what God wants me to do. And as I'm doing those things, he's going to give me the ability to do it. And likewise, you know, when it says I can do all things, doesn't mean I can do everything. It doesn't. So on one hand, it doesn't mean that I can do anything I want. And on the other hand, it also doesn't mean I can do everything that needs to be done, because I can't. Even with Christ strengthening me, I'm a limited human being, and you're a limited human being too. And you know, I've been taking this puzzle and I've been trying not to fit the pieces in the puzzle. I've been trying to cram an extra piece in the puzzle, a piece that doesn't fit, a piece that I just can't do. And so, you know, I want to give you the challenge today of finding the freedom of being you. And finding that path, you know, that God's given you, where it's challenging to say yes to some things, because God doesn't always lead us into being comfortable, but where it's challenging to say yes to some things, but on the other hand, where it's so freeing, to be able to say no to some things, because these just aren't in my, you know, these just aren't in my lane. I think that's what I've been working so hard over the past 2 years to figure out, is what's my lane. And then we got, you know, we did the merger, and it's just like suddenly I was confused by everything. And so the freedom of finding your lane, you know, that path that God has for you, that he's designed you for, that you have the energy, you have the intellect, you have the physical ability to do this set of things, you know, finding the freedom of that, and also finding that incredible comfort of the strength of God as we're living out that path that he's given us. So, you know, I guess what I want to say is just don't try to fit all that extra stuff in your puzzle. Find the things that are you, that you're supposed to do, that God's given you to do. Do them well. Lean hard on him. Pour everything you are into them, and find that freedom and that joy that comes from following him. So, thanks a lot for joining me again on the journey. I will be back again next week. I really encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to the Broken Podcast yet, click that button. Also love you to share it if it's meaningful to you. But one way or another, I hope you have a great day.